Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to look at what marathon training plan you should use for your race. Now, ultimately there is no one right plan, there is only a right plan for you, and even then that is massively up for debate. There are loads of ways you can adjust training, and it's something that no doubt you will adjust over time. It's only the best knowledge we can apply in the individual circumstances that you have at any given moment, and that will vary enormously. There's no way of testing, unfortunately, what is the best approach for you as an individual other than experience and trial and error. So we work within our scientifically proven kind of norms, and then we individualise it down to your level. But the key thing is not everybody can afford a training plan or a coaching plan. Not everyone wants one who can afford it either. Some people just want to go and do their marathon and get to the race and get it done. That's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's not all about PBs and really fast times and qualifying for Boston and all these kind of things. Sometimes just getting it done, raising some money for charity or just a personal achievement is what it's about. And that's absolutely cool. So, training plans. Now, there are loads and loads of ways of doing this. There are lots of free training plans online. There are some which are kind of just put out there by running coaches such as myself to garner interest for very, very low cost or free. There are those provided by race organisers, and there's also a few methods out there which are basically aimed at selling books or kind of hooking into some other sort of training program. There are varying elements of this which are really useful, some of which are really quite damaging and I think really are quite unethical in a lot of respects, such as, well, without naming any obviously, but if you see a marathon training plan and it's coming at a gimmick, if it's saying, you don't need to do this, you need to do this, then probably ignore it, in all honesty. There are some out there which say you need to do very, very low mileage and actually that's your best way to get to the marathon. Rubbish. There's some out there which say you need to do a long run mileage of maximum 9 miles, and there's inevitably loads of people underneath going, oh my god, this is amazing. But realistically, we all know how reviews and scams and things like this work. It's kind of appealing to the lowest rung on the ladder in the nicest possible, and I don't mean that in any way as an elitist type of thing, but it's the people who don't want to work hard. Now, ultimately, if you don't want to work hard, a marathon is not the distance for you, and that's fine. But this kind of, do as little as possible to get people in, it is just really a stupid way of doing things in my view, and is setting people up for failure. So what we want to do is to basically look at training plans that are going to be as specific as possible. Now, if you're not having a training plan written for you, or you're not having coaching, then you need to buy or download a cheap or free program. At this point, you need to then put some time in and basically adjust that around your specific needs. Nobody knows your scenario better than yourself. It's something that I ask a lot about when we first start a coaching or training plan for somebody is, what does their week look like? Have they got family commitments? Are there nights they can or can't run? Are there days they don't want to run? Are there best days when they want to do some specific strength work? What races have they got booked in? What are their energy levels like? To some degree, and where people feel comfortable with women, I'll talk about the menstrual cycle. When do they find that affects them most? What effect does that have on them individually? Do they have any issues? Do we talk about nutrition? There's loads of other things that come into this across the board for every individual I ever work with. So you need to put some time into that if you're going to get a free or downloaded plan that isn't specific to you. You have to specify those things. Equally, if you're looking at a particularly hilly course, for instance, or if you're looking at a very hot marathon or a very cold marathon, you need to think about how that's going to affect you and how you train around it. The UK Boston Marathon, for instance, is lovely and flat, about 70 feet of elevation, but it's notoriously quite windy. This year it had a torrential rainstorm during. So, think about how you're going to train around those things. What do you need to do in training to potentially prepare for that? You might run, particularly on windy days, deliberately go out on a windy day, run into the headwind for long periods of time rather than taking loops or trying to avoid it or treadmill running. Run into some strong headwinds for some periods of time. Build up that endurance, build your positional awareness so you can adjust your technique if you need to work with these things. So that's really what it comes down to, is, as ever, specificity. So there isn't a right training plan at all. There is only the right training plan for you, and that's with your best knowledge, with a coach or trainer's best knowledge, to make sure that you're getting to race day in the best possible shape and enjoying the experience as well, both during training as much as possible, but ultimately on race day. The training isn't as much fun. We have to do things we don't want to do sometimes, but the race day, there's the big high afterwards, there's this big, the medal, the t-shirt, whatever the goodie bag is that you're after. There's all that fun of it. The training is the hard bit, so make sure the training is appropriate for you, not stressing you, not adding pressure that you don't need or want is really, really key. So that's why there is no right training plan. It's the right one for you. If you're getting a free or downloaded one, make that effort to yourself to put this into action, to make the adjustment to make sure it works for you. If you're getting one from a training, buying a training plan written for you or working with a coach, make sure that they're on board and they understand you so that you can have the best experience possible.